back to Kamikaze Overdrive NFL predictions for week number 7. Week number 7 is being brought to you by the letters W, T, and F. Week number 6 was not the turnaround week I hoped it would be. I went 4 wins, 9 losses, and 1 draw, pushing my overall record to 29 wins, 43 losses, and 2 pushes. But somehow, with all that garbage I picked last week, I jumped into first in the winning percentage standings. I now moved in first with a percentage of 403. Sportsline.com's Pete Prisco dropped to 400 even as he went 2-12, and TSN.ca's Chris Schultz remains in third place with a percentage of 382. As always, my videos are associated with sportsinteraction.com. Click on the link below, get your free money, maybe fade me a little bit, make some money that way. Hopefully this week I turn things around and you won't have to worry about fading me. You can just bet with me. We'll see. And while I was perusing through NFL news and information online, I came across this very interesting little Reddit from Pete Prisco that kind of outlines how I feel too, because we're both struggling making predictions. And he wrote, "I give up. I just can't figure this league out. You want to get rich, take my picks and go the other way. My record against the spread Sunday was 2-12. Some expert. Next week I'm picking teams out of a hat. I mean it." End quote. Obviously sarcasm there, but certainly, frustration. And, when you go out and you say this team's going to win and you pick and it doesn't happen, it's not easy sometimes, but the important thing is keep plugging away. The wins will come. Lessons learned. As always, lots of them when you struggle. The first one is parity equals tough pickings. This league is a very, equal league. There's a lot of decent teams in the league this year. Anybody can win on any Sunday. For example, no undefeated teams. The first time since 1970, we didn't have a team that went 4-0 this year. I think the Jets are 5-1, one of the top teams in the league, probably the top team in the league with that record. There are 18 teams in the 32-team league that have a record of 500 or better. So again, also indications that teams in this league can win, and more than just a few of them. And finally, only 2 winless teams, Carolina and Buffalo, 0-5 both. So when you see stats like that, that means it's harder to pick teams because each team has a better chance of winning than if one's a better team and one team's poor. Please post your picks. It's very easy to talk on Monday morning and point out what I did wrong or whoever else did wrong when they're picking. I had a comment last week where someone said I was picking the wrong teams. Thanks. Good betting information. If you're going to tell me that I'm, not doing a good job, which I'm not, please post your picks so the rest of us can benefit from your knowledge of the NFL and we can all take advantage of what you know and your ability to see the future. Moving on, I didn't, when I actually looked at the games, I had over 6 games. There were 8 points. If I had spread out 8 points over 6 games, I would have had 6 more wins. New England, Indianapolis, Houston, Denver, 1 more point in favor of those teams, and I get wins in each of those games. And with the Giants and Oakland, 2 more points, and I would get wins in each of those games. My overall record would have gone to 10-4, which would have been a fantastic week. I'd be on your fist pumping, but it didn't happen. But it was so close, and sometimes that's all it comes down to is a point here and there. What I can take out of last week is small victory. St. Louis beat San Diego. I didn't say they'd beat San Diego. In fact, I thought they'd lose. But I did say they'd cover, and they covered very well. They played a good game there. Miami, I called them against Green Bay, and they showed up, got the job done. And the Minnesota Vikings won the Desperation Bowl, we'll call it, over Dallas, and I did pick them to win that one. Final point, week number 9 is the one week this year I will guarantee the Jacksonville Jaguars, I will get them right. Because they're not playing week number 9. That's the bye week. And also subsequently, any playoff round they don't play in, I will also make sure I get a correct prediction in that one. But week number 9, I will not get Jacksonville wrong. The Monday nighter was atrocious. They did not play well. They did not show up. And it just, ugh. Alrighty. Take a deep breath. Relax, and here we go. Here are my picks for week number 7. Let's hope it's a better week. First, we are in Baltimore as the Baltimore Ravens are 13.5-point favorites against the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are coming off a bye week. I don't usually like taking these big spreads, but Flacco and the Ravens play very well at home. Buffalo's going to struggle putting points up against Baltimore's defense. I think the Ravens will have a good game. They win this game fairly easily. And I think they're one of the better teams in the league. And I think they cover here. So take the Ravens by 14 or better, more points. Next, we move to Atlanta. Atlanta taking on another bye team in Cincinnati. Atlanta's 3.5-point favorites at home. Carson Palmer and the Bengals are struggling to put points on the board. Atlanta's coming off 2 road games and a butt-whipping in Philadelphia. So I think they come home, they respond. They're a very good home team. They're a good team overall, and I think they will beat Cincinnati in this game by at least 4 points. So we'll see how that turns out. We'll take Atlanta by 4 points. Next, we head to New Orleans, another 13.5-point spread. They are at home against Cleveland. I look at Cleveland. They're playing back-to-back road games. They got beat by Pittsburgh last week, who covered a 13.5-point spread. It's the second week in a row for a rookie quarterback on the road. I think this is going to be a tough one. New Orleans looked very good in Tampa Bay last week, and I attribute a lot of that to the fact that they're starting to put things together with, they know how to play without Pierre Thomas and Reggie Bush. When those guys come back, they'll accent the team nicely, but they're starting to get things in motion with the players they do have. So I think they put up some big numbers against Cleveland this week, and they will beat them. So first two of my first 3 picks are 14-plus spreads, so it's a very interesting start. Moving now to Kansas City. Kansas City at home against Jacksonville. No line posted for this one as of me making this video. I think it'll be Kansas City by 3.5 to 5.5 points. The Jaguars are coming off an embarrassing Monday night turnaround now on the road, so it's a very short turnaround. The Chiefs should have beat Houston. They let Houston back into the end. I think Matt Castle will have a big game throwing the ball, and I think Kansas City wins this game handily over the Jaguars. Let's see if I can get this one right. So come on, Kansas City, do me a favor here. Next, we had Tennessee. Tennessee's at home against Philadelphia. My first instinct was take the Titans. So based on what my instincts have been in the last couple weeks, I went with Philadelphia. Yeah, I think the Eagles have played very well this year. They're road dogs. Road dog in this game, 3 points. I think they can keep it tight. Might even win this game. They've played well almost consistently the entire year. Tennessee's been up and down. I think Kerry Collins is going to start this week, so he's a more than capable quarterback. But I'm going to go with Philadelphia to keep it tight and have a good road game and play tough. Now we head to Miami. Miami's at home against against Pittsburgh, my bad. Pittsburgh is a 3-point road favorite. Ben Roethlisberger's second game back. There's a possibility Roethlisberger could flop in this one against a better team. He did well against Cleveland last week with, what, three touchdowns. I'm hoping he does, and I'm betting that he does. I'm going to take Pittsburgh as a 3-point road favorite. And Miami, I remember they had a struggle with the Jets, and a defensive team like the Jets. I think Pittsburgh could pose the same problems to Miami that the Jets did. So we'll see how it happens there. They could make them kind of a one-dimensional team, struggle, make them throw the ball and stack up, push up against the run. So we'll see what works there. So I'm going to take the Steelers on the road to win the game by 3 or more. Heading now to heading now to Carolina. San Francisco will be the road favorite. I'll be taking them here. Carolina's coming off a bye. They're one of the 2 winless teams in the league. I think San Francisco, that big win in Oakland, has kind of maybe turned their season around. Another chance for a win. They know a couple wins here and there, and they're suddenly back in that divisional race. I just don't think Carolina has a lot to offer here, even coming off the bye. And so I'm going to take the 49ers to get the job done here and win on the road by 3 or more. Next, we move to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a 2.5-point favorite at home against the Rams. Tampa Bay got shellacked last week at home against New Orleans. Now they're at, like I said, now they're at home for their second consecutive week, which usually has, I can't see them losing 2 games at home in a row. Especially this one's only 2.5-point favorite. And I look at St. Louis. Last time they were on the road was in Detroit. They got absolutely destroyed by Detroit. I think Tampa Bay's a better team than the Lions, so I'm going to take Tampa Bay over the Rams by 3 points, and we'll see how that turns out. Next, we move to Chicago. My original instinct here was take Chicago. I watched Washington play in the Centimeter against Indianapolis. The Redskins did a good job. McNabb looked good. They moved the ball. They just came up short at the end, cost me a win, which I thought I had in the bag. And I think Washington will keep it tight. Chicago lost last week against Seattle. They didn't do a very good job protecting their quarterback. We'll see if Washington can exploit that as well. And I think McNabb just has the ability to play good games and to come up and keep this spread close. So I'm going to take Washington as a 3-point road dog here. Now we head to Seattle. The Seahawks, coming off that big win against the Bears, are 6-point favorites against Arizona. And normally it's a divisional matchup, and I would think trend-wise stick with Arizona, give them the points. I don't think so here. Arizona's not a good football team. The wins they have gotten this year were against other teams that aren't that good or teams that have injuries and were struggling. Now they're heading to Seattle. Seattle's starting to round into a respectable club. Marshawn Lynch starting to help them out with the running game. They're at home. They're a better team at home. So I'm going to take Seattle. They beat San Diego at home. I think they're going to do the same thing to Arizona here. And I'm going to take the Seahawks by 6 points in this game. Now we head to, we'll see San Diego in action at home against New England. Something here tells me San Diego could win this game in a blowout. They're desperate. Their division also is kind of a weak division. A win here, and again, they're right back in the thick of things. But I don't think they're as good a team as everybody thinks they're. People, like the last couple of years, San Diego struggled at the beginning of the season and just came out of it and did very well. People were waiting for that to happen. They just lost to St. Louis in St. Louis. Now they're going back home against New England, who is seemingly a good team. They've had another week to play without Randy Moss. I really think they make it a tight game. And I think New England will show up, potentially win this game. If not, the 2.5 points could be a nice cushion at the end. Someone's kicking a field goal in a game that's not tied, but very close. So I'm going to take the New England Patriots over the San Diego Chargers. Now we head to another divisional matchup. Denver Broncos at home against the Oakland Raiders. 9 points is a lot of points for a divisional game, but Oakland, second week in a row on the road, struggled in San Francisco, injury problems, quarterback issues. Kyle Orton's played very well for Denver. I think the Broncos probably should have beaten the Jets last week in another one of those tight games. Let it get away from them at the very end. So I'm going to take Denver to respond here, win a big game here, and try and make a statement in the division by 10 at least over Oakland. Now we move to the Sunday Nighter. Big game. Monday Nighter and Sunday Nighter, very big games. The Green Bay Packers at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Green Bay are 3-point home favorites. Big game because it's a divisional game. Brett Favre's coming back to Green Bay. A lot going on here. I'm taking Minnesota. I think Brett Favre and the Vikings are turned things around. They look for their third consecutive victory. Green Bay's dropped back-to-back overtime games, so 3 points is a perfect spread for that one if that trend continues. So at least get the push. If Minnesota wins, then you win. And I think Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay things are going to catch up to them a little bit with the injuries and such. So I'm taking the Vikings to keep it tight, potentially win the game. So we'll see how that turns out. And now Monday Nighter, Dallas at home against the Giants. Fishy smelling line. Dallas is struggling. The Giants are playing very well. Dallas is a 3-point favorite. Normally I would think, well, if that's the case, let's go with Dallas then. But I'm going to go with the Giants. The Giants are the type of team who will exploit you if you make mistakes or are undisciplined, which Dallas has been in a couple of their losses this year. And they just don't seem to. They lost to Minnesota. They lost to Tennessee. They seem to struggle in games they need to win. It's a divisional game. The Giants are looking at this as an opportunity to pretty much vanquish Dallas for the year, knock them down, put them out of the race, put them in the rearview mirror, and I think they show up and win this game. If not, again, 3 points is a nice little cushion for an end-of-game scenario that's tight. So I'll take the Giants here against the Cowboys in the Monday Nighter. KO parlay. It was a 4-way parlay. I've changed it to KO parlay because I'm going to, I haven't won more than 5 games in a week for 3 weeks. So picking 4 right on the same ticket is tough. So I'm going to knock it down to 3 this week. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win at home against St. Louis by 3. It pays $1.87. I'm taking New England as a 2.5-point road dog against San Diego. That pays $1.91. Minnesota, also I just said, 3-point dog against Green Bay in Green Bay. Minnesota paying $1.80. And the bet price overall is $6.42. You drop down $50. If you put $50 in, it's actually can make a $100 bet to Sports Interactional match that if you click on the link below and sign up. And the payout is $321.23, or do the math and double it if you put 100 down. Check out my UFC 121 video. Great pay-per-view coming up this weekend. Cain Velasquez against Brock Lesnar in the main event. My predictions for UFC have been the opposite of the NFL picks. The last 2 pay-per-views I've got 8 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. Both pay-per-views I got 1 wrong on each of my main betting tickets, so I would have won some big money on both of them if I got 1 more right, so very close. This could be the weekend I knock the door down and get a big win. SportsInteraction.com, as I said, sign up, get your free money, go from there, make your bets, play with me, fade me, do what you want. But, let's see if we can make some money this weekend. Good luck as always, and please, like I said, post your picks. Again, we can all benefit from someone who knows what they're talking about, because I certainly haven't the last couple of weeks. So yeah, if you have insight, please feel free to post and share your knowledge with the rest of us. And I'll see you back here for week number 8, Kamikaze Overdrive NFL predictions.